Good evening, everyone. Welcome to what I think I'm going to try to cram into one night for a bunch for a 2007 trip to San Francisco, where one of my contents that week was riding the California Line cable car system. This is my second trip to San Francisco. The first one I think I've already covered, where I did the two more popular beach and I don't know, Fishman, whatever the lines are, Powell and Hyde line. So the next time I only had the California line to do, and the only day I had to do it was an awful, miserable, drizzly morning, because that's what San Francisco's like in February. You don't get snow, you just get awful rain. I prefer snow, and I don't mind cold. So, but a lot of people are different. Anyway, I want to try to get this going. So, if you hope you like cable cars, because that's what we're getting today. So I'll talk a little bit about the system as I go on here, and we'll see where this goes. So starting off here, we have. So I don't know what I talked about the last time I talked about cable cars. But like sort of like it's a wonderful thing. It's half between a heritage system and a fully functional one. They find ways to charge tourists to use it, but they also have, I think locals can ride it on their monthly. There's two major lines. This is the one that goes east-west. The other two go north-south. And again, it's the only traditional cable-hauled cable car left in the world. And it hung on because of the steep hills for many decades. Was impractical for either electric streetcars or even internal combustion buses. Trolley buses were provided a little bit of an answer, but by that point it had become somewhat of a tourist attraction, and then was ultimately rebuilt in the 1980s almost from the ground up. So everything you see today, they took all the existing lines, mixed and matched them a few bits and pieces, and then reopened them, I think, in the mid-'80s. Nothing is necessarily fake, but it's not really. I mean, the cars are mostly original, but like everything underneath the street was completely new. I am going to be working from the original thing, so hopefully that'll make things go a little bit faster. So the California line is special in that it uses double-ended cable cars. The other ones use single-ended, where they have those turntables at each end, where the tourists get to watch the dudes push them around in a little circle. The California line cars just go out and back. They said they're double-ended, so they just go from Montgomery to Van Ness and back and forth and back and forth. Although you will see them used for pull-ins. They will go on the other lines for a pull-in situation, and I believe that in theory they might be able to go go the full. Everywhere where there is a turntable, I also believe that there is a turnback track. So I think it's possible for the double enders to roam across the whole system. But I don't know that. I'd have to go and Google like charters or something. This is where I realized that I did not pre-plan my overhead views here. So let's roll on over to San Francisco. I'm going to be using a whole bunch more of my content than I did back in 2007. A lot of these photos are poor quality. But as time has been as time has been going on, they've had increasing sort of value. So here's the cable car stop. The California terminates. It's effectively an Embarcadero station. Like there's the Embarcadero right there. It's right above the Embarcadero Muni stop, BART stop. So just like the Powell one is next to the Muni, the Muni stop there. This one has the same thing. It's also next to Hyatt Regency San Francisco. That's one of those Hyatt Regencies. There's some guy that was like Johnny Hyatt Regency seed, and he just roamed around the country designing Hyatt Regency hotels with atriums. So if you're ever in a Hyatt Regency somewhere and has a crazy interior atrium, it's made by the same guy. Anyway, I just need to get a quick view of where this is. All right. Because in this one I skip ahead a bit to Grant Street. So it's before Grant. Montgomery, California. There's Grant. So I just need to swoop in here and figure out where this is. I'm sure someone who knows the area is yelling at me. So there'd be a building on the opposite end of the street. Could be there. So this might be it. Yeah, that's it right there. Did that building get changed? Yeah, whatever. It's Kearny Street, Kearny. I don't think that's pronounced differently than the New Jersey one. This is very early in the morning. You can see how dark it is compared to... I have redone the line in different years. 2019 was the last time I was on it. So I'm not stuck with these awful photos. This will just take me a few minutes to sort of get going here. So here we have the Grant Street one. So another a couple. I mean, if anyone who see my previous cable car content, I apologize if I am repeating myself. Areas. So these when you have an up going over the top's easier than these sort of going up a divot. They need to have sort of pulleys that, hold the cable down from above, and they need to move out of the way for the grip. The grip is a giant, like, vise that mechanical lever operated sort of vice grip thing that comes down from the center of the car through the slot and onto the cable, and things like here where you have to have specialty pulleys that are moved aside as the grip goes through. So these upward facing where there's a lot of hatches, that's where all those mechanisms are to redirect the cable to go up. Now for some shallower ones, they can sort of get away with that, but not here. This is, I believe, a little bit farther up Grant Street. Yeah, this is just up. I'm going to cut this one because that's sort of a duplicate. I'm going to be cutting as many duplicates as I have that I really don't need. Next one's going to be Stockton Street. Yeah. So this is still good that I'm sort of I over brighten these photos back in the day. No real need to do that now. Yeah, it'll be for people who love their San Francisco. They might actually they had a change in government, and they might be able to get some get the housing affordability issue more under control up there. If you want to move there, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. So here we are approaching the crossing with the Hyde and Powell lines. There it is. So this would be, yeah, they've been doing a lot of this stuff with making sort of the center lanes for the cable cars only. Back in this period of time, you could just drive right down them. Another reason I'm sort of like, you know, happy to get these older photos out here because they do show a change in sort of approach. To how the line was run. Next, here we have right at the top of Powell Street. Not the greatest picture here, but still fun. So an interesting thing is that the Powell Street, so at Powell Street, the crossing, I'm not sure, did I have a video there? Don't see any. The California, for a variety of reasons, the California line is what is able, because it's actively going up a hill, where the Powell Street cars sort of hit a plateau and they can coast down the other side. So that means this is car number 57. That means the California cars stay attached to the cable, and the Powell cars have to let go and coast through the crossing there, which I don't have a photo of in this direction for whatever reason, but I'll get one. So remember, car 57. That's gonna be following behind us. We'll meet up with them later. Hitting the top of the hill here. Let's see what's next. Cushman Street. So when you're at this point in the time, I don't think you have two railfan window options in the cable cars. Four, arguably, with the California line ones. You can sit on the bench by one of the front windows. You can hang off the footplate by one of the front windows. I'm pretty sure that in this case, the windows, I think, would have been, if it rains, the windows get rainy, and you can't get photos. So, I'm probably either sitting on and taking a photo around that front thing, or I am standing. But these seem calm enough that I'm probably just sitting down and holding the camera out around the side. Here we have another one of Cushman Street. Same area, but probably after the traffic light changed. And end of the first thing. So here we have our first turn back. I'm sure there's videos, because using the turnbacks is a standard op for like anything going in, returning to the shed. Especially on, I think, Jackson Street is the one. So these are unsprung. So I mean, they're unpowered. There's no cable under them. There's a slot for the grip, because you really can't take that off. But the car will pull beyond it, release the cable, and it will glide backwards, and then it will pick up the cable again. The California line cars can immediately then, the operator can change ends and continue their route. This is the Taylor Street crossover. Here we go. First set is done. I'm really going to be trying to get this whole group done today. It might be a little bit of a challenge, but hopefully it won't go too long. I think I'm making good time here. I appreciate anyone who's pops in and stays. I know this isn't my usual potpourri of mid-2000s railroad content. But you know, it's not worse. It could be worse. So we have this is the summit. Oh wait, where are we here? So we are beginning with the summit of the California line here at Jones Street. I was in town for a conference of some kind. Oh, my thumb got in the way. Let me see if I can get rid of that. I was in town for a conference of some kind, and this is the free time that I had identified to do this. At this time, before I was doing more travel with my hotel guru friend, I found a cheap place down at Civic Center on Market. Even in the 2000s, you know, it was you could call it seedy. He thought it was crap. I mean, listen, San Francisco has its seedy issues, but I really had no. I mean, no one there is really there. Is really there to bother you. Although that might have changed due to the police strike and everything. But I would have had to have come in for this. So I would have got, and so at this time of that's a day, but in this period, the absolute best deal going was this the weekly pass. It was like $14 is car 52. It was like $15, and you were so normally, if you wanted to ride the cable car, you had to get a $5 ticket, or you get one of the stupid tourist passports that they would sell in 1 day, 3 day, or 7 day durations, and those were expensive AF. Still today they're expensive. It's like $30 for a 3 day. It's pricey. Although they do provide unlimited transit on everything. The major issue is that, well, not an issue. It was just expensive, and you sort of felt like, you know, you don't want to be a sucker. So, but the weekly pass, not only was it good for, you know, a week, and those were calendar passes. At the time, they were numbered 1 through 52. So when you bought a weekly pass, it was good for that. You know, it was good for the calendar week. That's one thing that would make it a little bit harder for tourists to use, because you might, if you bought it midway through the week, you weren't getting your full week. But they were, you know, a weekly was only, let's say, $14, which was maybe the price of a 1 day passport. So you're getting the whole week. Now the thing with the cable cars is that each ride was $1. With the weekly, the monthly The rides were included, but tourists, very few tourists are going to come in and buy a monthly pass. But for the weekly, it was $1. You had to pay $1, and 9 times out of 10, I'd flash my weekly, and the crews would not give a shit. They would just be like, okay. And occasionally, like once or twice of all the times I used this, they actually collected the $1. I don't mind. I mean, I'm perfectly fine, happy to pay the $1. But they clearly, their whole thing was collect single ride tickets, sell single rides to tourists for a lot of money, and check for the passport. But they figured, like, if I was getting a weekly, I wasn't a typical tourist. Even though I think I was in town for most of the week, but that weekly was a steal. And around 2009 or 10 or so, was when they got rid of it, and that's when they brought in the Clipper card. I think it's Clipper, maybe that's San Francisco, not San Diego. When the Clipper card came in was when they got rid of the weekly, and you couldn't. I don't think you can even buy like a weekly anymore. Like the whole concept of a weekly just went away, and that was I mean, it was just a fantastic deal. So here we have the next crossover, which is the this is the crossover that you use for getting access to the car barn. And you can see that there's your little this one's a little bit more used. They got the hand throw switch there. These hand throws, they're spring switches, so the crew will get out. The conductor will just grab that and haul on it, and then the car will go back. So this is the crossover that on a daily basis the cow line a bunch of them will probably use to get into the shed. Otherwise, they have to go all the way back down to Montgomery and then go back in. So let's say they finish up at Van Ness, which is back in there at the end of the photo. They'll come back here, stop, reverse, and then they'll grab the cable and whoop, down they go on Jackson Street. I think it's Jackson Street. Oh, it's Hyde. Oops. Derp. And here's where for the westbound track, you have both pull in and pull out, and this is non-rev here on Hyde. Where the Hyde line does not. So there's a couple blocks of non-rev that's only used by the Cal line trains to reach the actual California line. I don't know if crews are cool enough to give people a pull-in ride. They might be. I really don't know, but if you're wondering where we are, there's the Van Ness pull-in, and where is this? There you go. There's the junction, and this is the non-rev track that will get you to. So you have to have two non-rev moves. This is to get into that car barn. This is probably pretty crazy here. I'll go in this way real quick. There's the hill. There's the sort of summit of the city with the cathedral and the whatever this brownstone building is. And here's your pull-in track. And so here's how this sort of works. The Caroline trains, this is absolutely insane. They have to all go onto this sort of gauntlet track here, at which point there is a here we go. So let's see, how does this work? Okay, that's the outbound gauntlet. That's how trains get out. They come out of the car barn, they take that crossover, and now they're on this sort of gauntlet track. So here, yeah, this is where an inbound hide line train basically trails through this switch here, stops, and then reverses up, what is that, Washington Street to the car barn. So in theory, a cow line cable car will have to make 2 reverse crossover type moves to get back to the barn. Very 19th century. Not efficient. So we have car 50. I think that the cow line cable cars are all in the 50 series. I do have the thing pulled up here somewhere. Cars, 27 cars, double-ended cow line, 68 passengers. That's pretty good. 28 single-ended cars. For the PAL, 12 double-ended on the cow. So that means it goes from 50 to 62. Here we have 50 again. Yep, I'm definitely glad I'm redoing these, just because I said my original set has all kinds of issues. Like for example, like here's the original, off kilter, badly overblown out. So I feel like at some point this line kept going, but yeah, you're right. In the 1986 rebuild, I think they cut the line back. California Street Cable Railroad. Initial route around California from Kearney to Fillmore, west to and east to Market. Second line added 1891. Was small. Blah blah blah. So this event originally went to Presidio. So if we follow it, currently it ends at Van Ness. There it is. So it used to go all the way down here. I'd love to see them extend it, but you know they're not going to. But anyway. So here we are at California and Polk. And here we have 60 at Van Ness. So we're in 60. I think that the top number would be 62. And looks like I cut this one back in the day for being too similar. but I'll just include it. Why not? And here we have the end of track. And you can see that this little bit here, if they have some sort of problem, they can pull out these hatches, they can pull the whole grip off. They have a whole system of push cars and cranes and stuff in case the things get stuck. This is narrow gauge, it's 3'6". I don't think it's like 3'6" and some weird number like 5/8 and whatnot. All right, that's our number 2. Feel free to put any questions in the chat if there's anybody actually there. See what's going on here in the old chat. Anyone there? Nah. People are coming in, they're like, nah, I don't like cable cars. I get it. I get it. This one's I don't do these in order, but this one's been, I've bypassed this a while ago, so I get it. One of my usual guys couldn't even make it today, so hopefully I'll remember. Yeah, sorry, I kind of forgot to repost a lot of my my live streams. I just completely forgot them. I got most of them up now, so I'll hopefully get this. I'll get this going. I'll get this going when I. So this is a singleton. I'll post this up pretty quick. So I guess I just wanted to wait for a different car. So here's 56. Yeah, we're on our third set now, although we're going to have a lot of a bonus set. That's why I'm really trying to get through this as fast as I can, which is pretty. I'm making good time. So again, here we have the end. Both ends of the line are simply little tail tracks. They pull forward onto it, release the cable, and then this guy's gonna drift right back down to wherever the cable resumes. So the cable will go all the way up into the station because it's uphill. Otherwise, the train can't do it. I think at the Market Street end, it's more of a shallower. They can sort of push the car onto wherever the cable is. There we go. Oh, it looks like I had 2 of these. Alright, well there. Well then, I could have deleted that first one. I'm going to use the tall one. That works better. Here we are going east at Polk Street. Yeah, except for those hills at the beginning, the cow line really doesn't have the same sort of, ride potential like the Hyde and the beach lines do. Larkin Street. And like I said, there are regular people who ride this. It's not just tourists, especially on the Cal line. Even in the morning, you got to get up at today in this day and age. Well, I don't know about this exact day and age. In 2019, the lines for the cable car were absolutely insane to get on at the normal places. They were packed. This is the POW line, but the California line is always very sedate. But at the same point, it's really not. It's really not really giving you the full fun potential of the other ones. You only have a couple of those inclines. So if you have the day pass and you want to get, you want to do some extra cable carring, but you don't really care that you're getting you're not going to Fisherman's Wharf. The Cal line is definitely what I would recommend. And you can even try to connect with the normal line at the Powell Street crossing. But just remember that the cars leaving the terminal are going to be absolutely packed. So, and no one tends to get off for a while. Have the Hyde Junction. California gets a lot of crap these days for general municipal dysfunction, and a bunch of it's deserved. In the 2010s, there was definitely some folks sitting around, but this place didn't have nearly the number of homeless that it did in 2019. And people, the housing crisis doesn't help, but at the same point, I always say that a lot of people just wanted the city got a reputation for being both friendly to, it's the ambient wealth there is palpable. So if you're someone who doesn't have a lot, and you can come to SF, you won't freeze to death in the winter, and it's got a lot of people were showing up for the permissive drug culture. It's the locals are very let people do what they want. So folks roll in because they can pull good food out of dumpsters and they can score easy opioids. And then they die, then they OD, and that's why it has this absolutely catastrophic OD rate. But it's just it's this whole thing of people will come in and say, we don't want to judge, and we'll go to the mat. Local activists, they will go to the mat for vagrants to OD, their body, their choice kind of thing. Not necessarily. Honestly, if I was I'm surprised the conservatives give that approach so much shit, because it kind of in theory it solves the problem, but it does also lead to a lot of car theft, though. Those drugs ain't free. Here you have car 59 passing Leavenworth Street. Hey, that looks like some sort of new building. So we'll see. Apparently the Board of Supervisors got cleaned out of the most NIMBY voices, and they're probably going to find some way to build some additional stuff. I think this is Jones Street again. Let's find out. That's the one. Yep. Meanwhile, the urbanists have a hard-on for San Francisco because it's walkable, but they can't afford it. So that's what they always. That's what their number one reason that they're always clamoring for more housing is because they just want to live in San Francisco. Which, depending on how you view their activism, is either, honestly, if you don't like them, then you want to have San Francisco build more housing so that San Francisco can absorb them. But if you think that they're doing if they're performing a valuable service, then you want them to spread it. Then you want their activism in a variety in more parts of the country, as opposed to just New York, Philly, Boston, New Orleans, San Francisco, Austin, Chicago, Baltimore, D.C. I love these. The cool thing you do get on the California line is you have these really steep streets off to the south, where you have the pull-in parking, because if you put cars longitudinally on the street, they would probably just take off and run away. Oh, finished another doohickey there. Getting down to the gritty end here. So I got effectively 2 more sets to do. I think I can bang this out pretty well. Nope. There's one guy who's watching and a bunch of people who are just coming in and noping right out. So, oops. 1 second. Let me check something here. Oh, cool. My friend just got his new passport. Got it really quick, like within a week. Crazy. Alrighty. Let us continue here. Taylor Street crossover in the eastbound direction. There it is. There's that brownstone building. It's famous. I forget what it is. I mean, I can go look it up in a second. But one reason it's notable is simply because there is no... Brownstone only comes from one place, Connecticut. Or at least the real kind. And I remember when I had a geology thing that this building literally had to have its stone shipped around the Cape of Good Hope to reach San Francisco in the 1890s. So that's pretty cool. Whatever this one is, I skipped it. Let's see what building that is. So that's it's the Pacific Union Club, and that's the Fairmount Hotel. I think it's a hotel. Mason Street. What is this? Blah blah blah. 1906. Used to hotel. Blah 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 blah. Register located. Okay. Pretty cool. Clip this taxi out of there. Yeah, the cable cars work like any other streetcar, like you'd see at a streetcar museum or the F Market type of line. Any line with any heritage trolley line, this is going to sort of be how it is. Same sort of thing looking down Mason Street. Again, you see the perpendicular parking there. Here we have the Powell Street, the eastbound approach to Powell. You do get nice views of the Bay Bridge there. Although you know on a clearer day it looks a little bit nicer. Remember that, although not necessarily here, the cable plays an important braking role too. So it's not just pulls you up the hill. You use that. It's almost like a dynamic brake. It pulls the cable cars down the hill in a controlled fashion as well. So if it's going 7 miles an hour, you really want to be on that, hard on the cable. To avoid just sort of, to avoid having to either use the brakes or running away. And to a degree, you're pulling other things up the, your weight on the cable is then helping to propel other cable cars on that loop. Here we have the cable car tower. I don't know how much this is interlocked. There are little cable car signals. Mainly it's a four-way stop kind of thing here. Their major thing is that a Powell line car coming up the hill can't really stop. So the tower makes sure that there's not a conflicting California line train before that Powell line car starts up the really steep slope. This dip in the track right here, right in the middle, that's where after the car will coast across going southbound, it will dip down, be able to grab the rope again. So they've fully released the rope. A lot of times when the cableman, the gripman has released the rope, by releasing it, they just mean like it's slowly, it's moving freely in the grip. A full drop is where they have to be able to pass over. When a cable is, they can't just like have it move, slightly release it. They gotta like really drop it, and that little divot is where these single-ended cars can go pick it up again. So we're currently, we're on the downslope here, so we can just come to a stop and anytime we want. So we might be waiting for a power line to go through. Not sure what went through, but here are the diamonds. And here we have the tower displaying a clear for us to go through. Again, you can see how the little pickup divot is sort of semi-filled with water there. I bet it's good. It's definitely interesting. I wonder how they keep the cable channel all free of drained appropriately. You can just go. I've mentioned this before in my last one. If you're ever curious about that stuff, it's dark or what, let's say it's later at night, and there's no one really on Lombard Street. Not Lombard, it's the one above Lombard. And you can just sort of go and lift up those hatches, and you can see the cable and everything, how it kind of works. No one's really going to stop you. Got a close view of the diamonds here. It's a nice place to hang out too. They make the cable cars do make diamond noises, that the ba 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 type of thing. So if you like that sound effect, you can sort of hang out there. And now we're on the steep slope here. And like I said, this is the one part of the Cal line where you get a nice steep hill. Note that Bay Bridge Tower is still lined up there at the end of the street. And we have Stockton Street eastbound. Like I said, there's more of those hatches for the above riding cables. You can see there's diagrams online, places of how the cable car pulleys all work. It might be from the actual official website. Here we have car number 50. Here are meeting car number 53. I think we've run into 53 before. They release a whole bunch of cars to make the headways, and then they just sort of run around until the service pattern changes. For example, maybe it not being rush hour, but with the way the tourist trade works on these lines, I'm not sure. I think they just sort of come out for most of the day. And you can see how different these kinds of pulleys are. For an above pulley, you just need each one of these. There's a little pulley. Each one of these will expose a pulley for greasing. 1, 2, 3. So pulley there, pulley there, pulley there. All right, we are down to our last bonus set here. We're making pretty good time. Very good time. We're gonna be doing 60 photos here. The better part of 60 photos in barely over an hour. So, oh, there he goes. So, yay! That's pretty awesome. Got the Grand Street, heading back into sort of the Chinatown zone there. Oh, I should have checked if anyone had any questions in the chat. Nope, I'm not even talking to anybody right now. Womp womp. Alright, finish this up. The one day I'm actually doing a really quick job of this, because I don't have to do almost any research, and I don't have any audience. And I'll keep this going. I don't need to crop this stuff out. finish this up. Kearney Street. Apparently this is where the original terminus was. Seems an odd place for a terminus. Like you're on a hill. Here we have the crossover, the Montgomery crossover. I'm calling it. What did I call it before? Huh. I didn't have it. Interesting. Well, I will crop this a bit. So note there, you have a let go thing. That's where if some guy's doing the oh, this is a facing point crossover. Interesting. Well, it'd be a little bit difficult for it to be trailing only because you can't roll up the freaking hill. So it looks like I have a non-conditional let go to drift down, or maybe that's just for diverging movements. Don't know why they wouldn't just have it for diverging. This is the Montgomery crossover. Eastbound wet. Oh, I got another one. This one's just closer. Probably didn't need to... No, they're both useful. Nice. And coming up to the end here, Sansom Street. Yeah, today when I do the cable cars, I mainly try to get some videos. I've gotten, even those I don't get a ton of viewership on them. I mean, everybody has cable car videos, I assume. So yeah, there's 57. I think I mentioned, like, we're going to see 57 again. Well, there it is. Man, it's wet. This day got really wet. And I was just there by myself. Today I got a travel buddies. I know a lot more people. Back in 07, man, I just knew myself. So, yeah, that's where I'd end up. I mean, I just would be on the city for a bit. I call my parents and stuff, but no, just don't have the same social circles like I do now. Where is this? I'm not going to cut this one. Battery Street, it looks like. This looks like a giant puddle we got to go through. And we're down to our last one, which is going to be the car ahead of us, which is 60, next to a Boar's Head truck, which is probably out there delivering salmonella. Or, no, listeria, that's right. There we go. Adjust that. Yeah, looks good. Good enough. Well, whoever's there, if anyone's there, thank you so much for watching. I didn't take up too much of your time, which is good. And I managed to clear this off the board. So, if anyone is there, let's see what we got. Oh, I gotta do this one. Oh boy, man, this trip was annoying. Wait, no. Oh, do I have to do another? Have I not done another? Oh my God, I've done like so little of this. Damn. I might have another stuff from 06 that I haven't done. No, I did the cable cars. I did the San Francisco stuff. I did Caltrain. So I just got to do all of the things. So if I have another single day one, I'm definitely going to come back and do this Bart and you. Wait. No, you're right. I haven't done this one yet. I was just looking at it. Yeah, I definitely need to do this Bart one. I'll see if I can pull enough out to make it a single day, but okay. All right, anybody there to have any questions? No, no one's there. All right, well, there's someone there. Thank you, one person. Thanks for watching. Have a great night. Enjoy. And I will be back next week streaming all the days of Thanksgiving week, except for Friday. I'm probably going to be doing a 4-parter or a 5-parter. One of my PRR mainline ones, probably going to Lehman Place or the Port Road stuff. But next time I'm here for a single day, which will probably be in the future, I'm going to clear out that those other 2007 San Francisco stuff. So anyway, have a great day and have a great night. Have a good weekend. All right, see ya.